Hi, it's me again, Victims No More, and let's talk some more about running and how we run, how we move through this world, like we were talking in the last video. I think we need to go into more detail here. Um, as you can tell, I've been running most of my life, so I consider myself an expert in running and why we run, how we run, and where we run. Um, we start off young running, trying to prove ourselves, trying to prove um, ourselves worthy. Sometimes we're trying to prove that we're lovable. Sometimes we're trying to prove we're smart. Some people are trying to prove that they're pretty or they're the best or not um, not what you say they are. Okay, sometimes that we're doing that. There's a lot of reasons why we start in the beginning uh, running because we start out trying to get something that we want very badly as children. We're trying to get that. We're trying to hold on to that. And when we do get it and it is yanked out from under our feet, the rug is pulled out from under us, then we start running because we're very confused. We don't understand why we got to experience the thing that we wanted and then it was taken away because we didn't do anything to have it taken away. It was just taken. Okay. But we don't understand the reason it was taken is not our fault. Okay. We didn't make that situation. That is someone made that situation for us. Okay. So we start running as a not running as a kid. We're walking as a kid. As a kid, we're walking around and we're trying to get recognition for something. We're trying to get acknowledgement. And when we don't get acknowledgement where we are as a kid, we start looking for it in other people. Because I know as a child, I found many people that acknowledged that I was who I thought I was. It just wasn't coming from where I thought it should be coming, like from my home. It came from outside sources, like my neighbor next door used to say if I ever had a daughter, I would want her to be you, which was um, very exciting to me because she was a lovely person and she meant a lot to me. And then I had another lady. She was 10 years older than me, but she took time and she spent with me. She talked about things that were important to her with me. Please note that at the time, I am a child and she is a teenager on the verge of adulthood. And she comes back in my life. She is an adult, she's married, and she still thinks to this day that I am the same great person that she thought I was when I was a kid. So she's someone who actually truly saw my authentic self. And it happens to us once and again. We find these people who see our real, true, authentic self. They see us for who we are. Okay, because most of the people they don't see us for who we are. Like they think we're full of shit, that we're lying, or we're joking or making fun of them or whatever it is that they think, which is not the case. Because when you're being your true authentic self, you are telling exactly your truth. You are expressing who you are to the soul, your soul meaning. You're saying it to people, and sometimes they think that you're joking, or or you're not being truthful, or you're full of crap. Okay, because not everybody in this world is going to get us. Let me tell you, there are some people in this world that my light, my inner light, my happiness that I try to spread in the world, that light. It aggravates them. And like upon meeting me for the first time, they hate me. And it never stops, okay? Until that person exits my life. My light irritates them. That's all there is to it. There's nothing you can do about that because why would you want to dim your light to make somebody else happy? You wouldn't. Okay, you have to be your true authentic self. And that is something that we're going to learn the hard way. Okay, I know because I've already learned it the hard way. Like I said, I'm 63, but I will soon be 64. And yeah, I have definitely learned the hard way, very hard, um, that your your true self, your true what call your true authentic self, who you are, who God made you to be. That's your true authentic self. Okay. Some people are just not going to like that and they're not going to see it. And it doesn't matter what you do to try to make them see it. They're not going to see it because they have blinders on and they can't see you. They don't understand who you are, what you are about, and it doesn't matter how much you try to explain. They just don't get it. Period. Okay? So, we're learning, we're growing up, we're getting older, okay? Not necessarily growing up because I know some people that are older than me that are not grown up. Okay, so some of us are getting older and we're going in the world and we're doing catastrophe after catastrophe. With me, the one thing that was consistent is I never stopped learning. I always tried to ascend by having greater knowledge. It didn't matter if went from occupation to occupation. That occupation was already always something better than the last occupation. Okay, that showed me that I was moving forward. I may not have been moving forward in relationships or in my love life, but I was moving forward as myself. Well, I was gathering the knowledge that I would need. Okay, to be successful, to be able to make money in my life. And that doesn't just because have knowledge and you know how to be successful, that doesn't mean that you'll always be successful. Okay? That's a fallacy. Like everybody has their ups and downs. Everybody has their high points and low points. No one is going to um just start as a child and just run all the way up to the top of the rope till the end of your life. Okay, that rarely happens. Um, but you will see those people. They have help in their life. We don't have help in our life. Okay, we are solitary because of who we are. We are just alone even in a crowd, even in a relationship, even sometimes just even in friendships. There are some people that really, really get us. And but most people don't. And that's a shame. And it's not just a shame for us because we're alone, but it's a shame for them because they're missing out on a great opportunity because we have a lot to offer. We're not evil, wicked people. We don't go around doing black magic or we're not bitches. We don't tell people how to live their lives. Um, we talk to people. We want to hear their stories. We want to understand who they are and if we have anything in common with them and whether they could be friends with us, if we share something, if we have some kind of connection, whether it be soul connection or um if it's just a friendship, because some friendships are soul connections, they're soul ties. But some friendships are just like for a season. You're our friend, we need a friend, and there you are. And for some reason, we connect and we're friends. And then when we move on, even if we try to stay friends, usually, you know, If that season is over, then that's just the end of it. You have to accept that for what it is. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're talking a little about uh, how we move in the world, walking as a child, running, maybe not running, jogging as a teenager. And then when we hit early life, let's say 21 and above, is when we're going to get some kind of huge betrayal, which is going to set us on the path. And we are really going to run. And when we run, we are going to run with blinders on. We are going to run from one bad situation to another because it's almost like we can't see what's ahead of us because we are too busy running. Okay. Now, there are people in our life that can say, hey, let's sit down because that's what we all need to do. Trust me, I sat down for almost 10 years, sat down. I got really sick, but I actually sat down and introspected for almost 10 years, not doing much of nothing. I mean, I did things. I had a little business and it was the best that I could do at the time. And it's one of the before I started doing this, it was one of the last businesses that I had. And I loved it. But I got to the point where I was so sick that I could not um, continue it. And also, I had some evil people because it always comes my way. I always, because I think I'm a loving and giving person, I seem to attract users and people with evil intentions. They're not out for my good, they're out for theirs. Okay. And I've come across quite a few of these people. And so when I had my last business, they allowed their dogs to totally destroy my my chicken business. I loved chickens. I had all kinds of rare breeds and I sold eggs and I did all kinds of things. I wasn't well and I couldn't go outside the home and work. Plus, I had a child that was a teenager. My husband was dead and I needed to be there for him. And so I made a business at home, but I live on 10 acres, so I was blessed with that. So the chicken business was actually not my idea. It was thrust upon me, but I grew to love it. I kept learning and learning, and the more I learned, the more I loved it. But yeah, so there's people that are going to come in our life, and they're going to be like, "You're a great person, and I see you, and I see who you are." But the majority of people that come in our life are like, she's a nice person, you know, whatever. But there's going to be some people that really come in our life and they're like, I hate that person. Like for no reason. They hate you. Your light irritates them. They hate you. Okay. So here we are. Um, let's see. I did I abbreviated my first marriage because I didn't really want to go on with the specifics. I thought it was not that it was too personal, that it was just boring. That really it was just the more of the same over and over again. And it's not that that person was a bad person. He's not a bad person. I wouldn't say he was a bad person. He was he didn't have any like there was no desire in him to succeed. Like he didn't want to be anybody. He just wanted to be. Okay. And I was not into directing him who to be. I was directing me who to be because that's the important. It's important for us to care about ourselves and where we're going. Okay, which we don't do when we're running. When we're running, we just run blindly from one situation to another, and it usually gets really bad because actually, when I started to record today, I was going to talk about what you'll see in my next video, which will probably come out on Saturday. Um, which was called Down the Rabbit's Hole. Which, by the way, I don't have scripts. This is totally off the cuff. I love public speaking. I think it was something that I was meant to do, not in the beginning because I was very shy. But after all this um learning about myself and my place in the universe, I think I would be a really good public speaker. And I have a lot to say. And this is one of my particularly favorite um, things to talk about. Why? Because there are so many of us out there that are abused in one way or another. Okay. Um, I just want to say to you, don't give up hope on yourself. Okay. Because that leads to darkness, that leads to suicide, serious mental illness, death. Um, it just I don't even want to go into all the bad things that it can go in. You can't be hopeless. No matter what your situation is, you have to find some kind of hope in it. Hope that you'll get out of it, hope that you'll move on, hope that you'll find yourself, because finding yourself is the hardest thing. Some people are very good at finding themselves. Like I have some friends of mine who they went to be something in particular. I mean, they came from a normal family. I mean, they not necessarily just the same mom and dad. Some of them had stepfathers, or some of them had stepmothers, or some of them grew up with an extended family, so they had a lot of support. But they had like sibling rivalries. Okay, nobody's life is perfect. I mean, there are some people whose lives are perfect. I'm not gonna lie, but those people are very few and far between. But some people have goals from the beginning, and they sail smoothly through their life towards their goals, and along the way they attract good people to them, and that's I always look at those people and I think to myself, I wish I had the inspiration you did. Okay. Because I didn't. I was friends with you. I've been friends with you, but I never had the belief in myself that you did. And some of those people still believe in me today. And I'm still working on myself, still trying to be a better person because that's one of my goals. Like never give up. That was always in my goals. Never give up. Okay, keep ascending. Keep on making yourself a better person. Be a better you. Um, that is very important. And be your authentic self. Don't tell people what they want to hear. Tell your truth. If you don't agree with them and they're mad, that's too bad. Because your truth is your truth. Like they're saying, "Oh, I'm mad." That's their truth. But that's not your truth. I'm not mad. I said what I said because it was the truth. If you're angry that I spoke the truth, then maybe you need to look at yourself and see why you're angry. Because if I'm saying my truth, unless I'm full of shit, because some people are out there that will speak their truth and they are just flat out liars, manipulators. They're out for their own gain. There are those people out there. Make no mistake about it. Okay. There are many, many people out there that are out for what they can get for themselves from others. Not, I mean, I'm not saying they don't work, they work, but they are also master manipulators. They like to find people like us and manipulate us to get, I don't know, it brings them some kind of power, maybe joy in our downfall. They hurt us and that makes them feel superior. Okay, I know you've come across these kind of people because by God, they're everywhere. Everywhere. You don't even have to know them. Okay, because in my job, a lot of people come through there. Some of the people I do know because I see them on a consistent basis, but some of the people I don't know, and they just, uh, you just kind of want to blink and shake your head and be like, seriously, is that how you act in the world? Because that's just not the way. But that's not your place. Your place isn't to judge people. Your place is to be the best you. Okay. So when you're running, if you can, stop for a minute, stop running from yourself and your fears, and sit yourself down and say, why am I running? And where am I going? And why am I going there? Is that the best opportunity for me? Or would it be better for me to do this? Let me tell you how many times I've lived in my car by myself. Was that the better opportunity for me? Yes, because going to someone else and getting help from someone that didn't have my best interest at heart was not the better opportunity. Staying in my car by myself and looking at myself and talking to myself because no one else was around, was that the best thing to do? Yes, because I had no stable home. I couldn't go home like a lot of people did. I remember my second year of college, I tried to go home and found out that the house had been sold. I didn't have any home, so some of us don't have any place to go, like, or your parents have passed on, and your grandparents and your aunts and uncles. There is no family, you know? So there isn't any place for you to go. And sometimes sitting down, regardless. I mean, I'm not saying be homeless in the Walmart parking lot with a "I'm homeless, please help me" sign. Um, no, I'm not talking about despair. Okay. And some of those people are manipulators. Some people do want help, but that's not the way you get help. You don't get help by sitting there and asking the general population, hey, can you give me a few bucks? Because the general population looks at you and says, you don't need a few bucks. What you need, um, you know, you need a homeless shelter, because the general population never been in a homeless shelter. They don't know what it's like there. Uh, if they did, they wouldn't tell you to go there. It's too bad that more people are not like in the old days. There were places you could go to rent a room, you know, lodging. There was lodging that could be had. Not so much today, because if you don't have money, you are not lodging at any motel, and there are not people that you don't know willing to take you into their homes for X amount of dollars a day and give you a meal. That just doesn't happen anymore. That's not something you're likely to encounter, and God help you if you fall into a cult. Yeah, you don't want to encounter that either. Okay. Um, so what I'm saying to you is this. We're not talking about my life today. We're talking about you. Today we're talking about you because I want to encourage you to sit down. Stop running and sit down, because if somebody had told me this 30 or 40 years ago, I probably would have learned a lot of things earlier and my life would have been a lot easier. Sit down, talk to yourself, talk to God, pray on it, pray on what you want. Say to God, this is what I'm looking for. These are my aspirations. I would like this. And I would like to make myself better by doing this. And can you push me in that direction? Okay, give me some direction here, Lord. I am floundering. Okay, and I have no one but you, no one but you that I can trust. I can say anything to you, and you're not going to shut me down, because that's not God. Divine does not shut you down because they don't like what you say, unless you're like being satanic or something, then God's not going to be pleased with you, obviously. And if you're a liar, a cheater, a manipulator, if you like to be in the streets, doing whatever you want to do, screwing people over, God's not going to look on you with favor then either. Your life is going to decrease. Okay, our lives are not decreasing because we're running. Our lives are like in a whole pattern because we are not sitting down and thinking to ourselves, what is my direction? What am I looking for? Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? Now, and a lot of us are like, I'm just trying to find some love. All my life, I've just been trying to find love. Divine is love. God is love. The universe is love. Send your love out into the universe, and the universe will send love back to you. Believe me. Um, Somebody asked me one time when I was really ill, and I got my Coast Guard widow's pension. I made $400 a month, and my son and I were subsisting on that. And they're like, "How are you living like that?" Like, I had one man from Medicare come to check on my husband who had been dead for years at that time. And he's like, "How much money do you make?" I said, "We get $400 from the Coast Guard every month." And he said, "Do you realize you live below the poverty line?" And I was like, "No, really?" And of course I knew that. My son and I would buy a bag of potatoes a week and we each got one potato a day. Yes, I was very much aware that we were below the poverty line. But at that time, I couldn't do anything about it because I was ill, and my son was in high school, and he didn't want to learn how to drive, and so I couldn't drive. I mean, I literally was in and out of the hospital like it was a freaking revolving door. I was so ill. But for those of you that are not ill, for those of you that are looking for love, find it inside your own self. Because that person that you're looking for, that person that you think is going to fulfill you, that's going to be your end all be all, that person is you. That person is inside of you. You need to find that person. And who helps you find that person? Whether you want to call him God or Jesus or divine or the universe, as long as you don't want to call him Satan, you're looking in the right place. But the thing is, talking out loud, like when I pray, I'm not speaking in my head. Okay, now sometimes during the day when I'm praying over something, I am speaking in my head because why, I'm out in public, although I do talk to myself at my job all the time. But most people, you can see them, they'll put their hands up and they'll bow their head, and they're praying. Okay, that's not how I pray. I don't get down on my knee, well, unless I'm at church. I don't get down on my knees and pray like that. My conversations with divine are one on one. Like I'm talking to somebody who's there in the room because I know God is always with me. Divine is with us. The universe is with us. Okay. Whether we want to acknowledge that or not, He is with us and He is waiting for us to ask for help. He only wants to give you help. So, what I was saying, when I made $400 a month and the man from Medicare came by, because my late husband was died when he was 72, so he was on Medicare, and he wanted to find out why my late husband had not renewed his Medicare. Well, he had been dead. I still get stuff from Medicare, and he's been dead almost 10 years now. Okay, so um what we have to do is we need to talk. Whether you talk out loud or you have a conversation in your head with the universe, with divine, with God, with Jesus, with whatever you want to call it, um, as long as you don't call it Satan, because you do not want to talk with Satan. You do not want to make any deals with Satan. You do not want to shake hands with the devil. You don't. Because I've seen people that have done this and I've seen their lives. And I've seen their deaths. Okay. And anybody thinks that black magic is a joke. It's not. And if you even if you pay someone, an occultist, to do things against someone else or against some situation, you're gonna pay for that. It's not just bad karma. That's sickness and death that you're asking for, okay? Don't do that. Don't line up 20 black candles and start making some incantations that you read on the internet. Don't do that shit. That shit is real. Like you think it's play, it's not. It is not, okay? But praying to the divine, talking to the divine, like one on one, like he's the person there for you. You're talking to him. We have a conversation. I sit on my bed, which as you noticed today, I am not sitting on my bed, but I sit on my bed and I, you know, I say whatever I had on my mind that day. Whether it's a problem that I had at work that's concerning me, and or whether it's something going on in the world or someone in particular that I'm worried about. Um, there's a lot of things that I think about. I don't just think about myself all the time. I'm not all about myself. Um, it has taken me a long time to learn to love myself. There are still some things I do not love about myself. There aren't enough hours in the day for me to do all the things I would like to do. But what I want to say is sit down, talk. I don't care if you think you're talking to yourself. Just say, God or divine or the universe, this is what I think. This is what I want to do. I want to find my forward motion in this direction. And like I said, when I made $400, a friend of mine said, "How do you live?" And I said, "God sends us money." And she said, "That's ridiculous." And no, it's not. I mean, I put out into the universe. I need help. I'm sick. I don't have any way that I can earn any money. I mean, I was at one time doing like surveys online. I did earn like $1,000 in 3 months, but that was towards the end of my illness where I was starting where I could be awake most of the hours of the day like a normal person. Um, so what I'm saying is if there's something on your mind and you don't have anybody to talk to, or you do have people to talk to, but you don't want to express this particular inner secrets of yourself where you feel vulnerable or you don't want to talk about that with somebody, well, talk to divine, talk to the universe, send it out to the universe. This is my energy, I'm sending it out into the universe. Okay, like I'm telling the universe, I am really strapped here. I have a child to take care of. He's in high school. I have no way to work. I'm very ill. I need help from the universe. And it was amazing the things that happened for me. The the money that just came in. And I'm not joking about that either. I'm not. Um, I had somebody tell me, "I'm going to send you a couple $100. It's the best I could do," and I got a check for $1,000. That's not a couple $100. And I used to get money in the mail. Like one day I was saying, "Oh, I got to buy a car. I don't know what I'm going to do," and I get this check from Republic Finance, and I'm like, hmm. This is a real check. And it's like, this is a real check. This is what it says on it. This is a real check. So I took it to the bank and I deposited. It was a real check. I mean, I'm almost got it paid off, but that bought my car, the car that we're driving, that my son and I are driving. And it came in the mail out of nowhere because I kept saying, we have got to get a vehicle. I mean, I was at the point where I could work and he could work. So we needed a vehicle, and we'd already been bamboozled on another one, and I had uh, spent $1,000 on. So yeah, what you put out into the universe, you get back. What you do to people, the goodness that you do to people, you reap. The bad things that those people do to you, they reap bad karma. And if you don't believe in that, that's because you moved on and you didn't get to see it, okay? Because sometimes we don't see karma in our lifetime, but it happens. We're just not there to witness it, or maybe somebody will tell us secondhand, Or maybe we don't know anyone that knows that person, so we never find out. But regardless, what they put out into the universe, they will reap. When they do you wrong, they will incur bad karma, and you never know when it's coming um for them, because that's not your job. That's divine's job. That's what the universe does. That the universe straightens people out. The universe does, we don't straighten people out. That is not our job. I had somebody that was very into religion and said, it says right here in the Bible, it is our job to judge other people. No, it's not. We don't judge other people. We judge ourselves. Sometimes we judge ourselves way too harshly, but we judge ourselves. What other people say about you is irrelevant. What you think about yourself, what God says about you, what the divine, what the universe says about you, that's what's important. How you feel inside. You know when you're doing wrong and you know when you're doing right. Um, there's no one that'll ever get me to believe that's not true. We all know. Well, except for people that don't have a conscience. I mean, people that have some kind of mental illness that have no conscience. But just like evil people that go around, hurting other people for, shits and giggles, those people are incurring karma. Um, so don't be one of those people. Don't incur karma. Don't get revenge. Walk away, but don't try and get somebody back, because revenge is only going to get you bad karma. And what is the point of that? We are already struggling on our own. We don't need to make bad karma. We're running from our good karma. So, anyways, what I'm hoping this maybe clarified some things so that I can go on with my story, because I'm about to go down the rabbit's hole, and it's not pretty, and it's not good. And I did it to my own self, and that is most of our stories, most of the things that we've incurred. Some things people have brought on us out of jealousy or manipulation. Some people just get a kick out of hurting other people, and some people are just bad people. That's all there is to it. I mean, there's good and there's bad in the world, and you have to choose which one of those people you're going to be. And see, I've always chosen to be a good person. I love people, and I want them to love me in return. But there's some of those people will take advantage of that, and they will hurt you. They will do everything they can to get one over on you. I'm telling you, maybe in the story, maybe later on, I'll get into one of these stories. But for now, my advice and what I'm saying to you is it's very important to sit down. Sit down, have a talk. Even if you think you're talking to yourself, just say universe, because God knows you're talking to Him. He is the universe, He is divine, He's God, He's Jesus, He's the Holy Spirit, He's all those things that people call Him. There are so many names for God. I couldn't even sit here and recount them all. Okay. God has many faces. He is different things to many people. But the one thing He is never is the devil. The devil is a whole different story. And do not mistake the two, okay? Because the devil will lead you down a garden path that you will never recover from. So don't go there. I mean, don't. Because I've seen some people um, do some horrible things. And they're not living anymore, though, most of those people. They've done some really bad things, and they paid for it with their lives. Uh, and they had a miserable life. They had addictions. They had a lot of things going on, but all of it was bad because that's what they incurred. They incurred bad karma. So don't be one of those people. Be a good person no matter what. Keep your head up, believe in yourself, ask for help from the universe, and do your damnedest to help your fellow man. It doesn't, even if it's like giving someone a lift or se- being in the store and seeing somebody, coming from church and all dressed up, saying, "You look really nice today," or "That color looks great on you. Your hair looks beautiful today." Some of those things mean the world to people. You don't even know what a nice thing being said to somebody means to them. Think of all the times that we've been down and people have said something to us like, "You have a beautiful smile," or "You have really kind eyes," or just some kind of off the cuff remark that most people don't even think twice about. To us, it means something. So don't forget, it means something to someone else too. Spread your light. Tell people just for no other reason. I was going through YouTube the other day and I saw this thing and it said, pay for the since where I work, since it said when you're in the drive-through, pay for the person behind you, which made me laugh because when I was trying to learn drive-through, that confused me so much because you're paying for yours and you're paying for the person behind you, but you don't know the person behind you. So sometimes the person behind you, like obviously, if there was a cop car behind you, you know who you're paying for. But some people paying for the car behind them, and the car behind them was like DoorDash, which there's no payment for. So it got me very confused. I've gotten much better at it now, but I'll tell you what, um, that little job that I have now, it has taught me a lot about humility. Um, because I fast food back in my time, there wasn't a lot of fast food, and that's nothing. I had never worked in fast food. I didn't even when I said yes to this job, when I went in to get that glass of water and came out with a job, I had no idea what I was about to go into because especially at my age, I had no clue. I'd always worked professional jobs and I didn't really know this kind of work. And it's very interesting. And it's humbled me. It's made me look at things from a different perspective. Sometimes you don't even pay attention. That waitress that serves you that's on her feet 10, 12 hours a day in a restaurant. Did you ever think maybe, a nice tip or a kind word? And people, please stop leaving your church information behind if that person wanted to go to a church, unless they happen to be talking about it. Yeah, that's advertisement for your church. That's not. Yeah, that person is working. They're struggling. There's nobody standing on their feet 10 hours a day waiting on people who are most of them okay, but some there are a lot of people that are nasty to them. They leave them a penny tip or some stupidity like that because they don't understand the humility of the job. And I can tell you this: I've learned a lot of humility, but you know what else I've learned? A lot of joy, because I love talking to people. And so this job in my old age, even though I'm not young, this is a young man's job. I will not lie. Fast food is not for old people. But being able to talk to people, a lot of different people on a daily basis, has really turned my world, uh, the sun on in my world. I spent almost 10 years in isolation trying to understand things. And when I came out, and this was the job that was offered to me, boy, this wasn't what I thought Divine was going to offer me, but it was. And the young people there, they uplift me. I remember when I was young. I see their joys and their first loves and their dating, and it's a whole new experience for me. Things that really I hadn't thought about for a very long time. And they just bring me a lot of joy, just them, the girls there, and the guys, and some of the older people that are there that have been working for the company for a long time, their wisdom. um, it's impressive, and it's been a very interesting experience for me, something that I really thought I would never do. And I don't even know how I did this. Obviously, it was in Divine's plan, because you don't go in for a glass of water and come out with a job and start working the next day. So keep your head up. Don't drown in your sorrows. Try to ascend, be a better person, spread your joy. Um, I don't care what you say to somebody. Those are beautiful shoes. You never know. Oh, I like those earrings. Your hairstyle's great. You don't know what just made that person's day. Be that person's day so people can be your day. Because what you put out, you get back. So remember, sit down. I don't care if it's early morning, noon, the middle of the night, whenever you have time to sit down, or if you can't sleep, you need to contemplate, talk to divine, talk to the universe, talk to God, talk to Jesus, whoever you call that person that you believe is like the creator or who watches over us, or if you don't believe in any of that shit, talk to your own self. Okay? If that's, you don't believe in any of that, talk to your own self because someone is listening. Even if it's just inside you that's listening, talk. Tell them, say, this is what I'm looking for. Why am I in this situation? How do I get out of this situation? How do I make myself a better me? How do I learn to move up to the next job? Why am I struggling? Why am I working so hard and going nowhere? Why am I a hamster on a wheel? Okay. I don't care what you say. Just don't say negative things. Thinking brings negative things into your life. The more negative you think, the more negativity you're going to get. The more positivity that you give out, the more positive you think, the more positive things are going to happen to you. Okay? That's the way things work in the universe. I mean, these things have names. Okay? We'll get into that later. But for now, I just want you to sit yourself down. Stop running for a minute. Take a break. Sit down. Stop worrying so damn much. And say to yourself, I'm going to take this time and I'm going to think about my life. Or maybe you want to sit and talk to your teenager and like talk about life, get some insight from the younger generation. Or if you got a grandma, see, I haven't had any of those things, but you know, talking to older people, you can learn a lot from their lives. They're very interesting people. Most people in the now, they don't appreciate the older generation. Um, you know, they don't see value in old people, but there is value there. So talk to yourself, talk to your kids, talk to your teenagers, talk to older people. If you happen to work someplace where you meet a lot of people, you see some old people, say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" You know, get their point of view. Every different perspectives are so very important at this point in time where we're so unsettled, where we don't really have a, an understanding on how to get forward. Other people's perspectives are very insightful, and I can't even tell you how many people um, perspectives are just worth their weight in gold. So if you know people, like if you, let's say you work at the grocery store, right? And you see people, the same people over and over again, you get to the point where you're like, hi, yeah, say, hey, this happened, and what do you think about this? And you're going to see sometimes they'll have surprising perspectives, something you never thought they would say. So don't be surprised um, to reach out to people, especially people that have shown you that they have an interest in you. They say hello, they acknowledge you. Those people have an interest in you. Have an interest in them. See what they have to say. You know. But whatever you're gonna do, try and be positive and keep that positivity within you, because that positivity within you, that place in you that just doesn't give up, that's your soul. And your soul is saying, not today, devil, not today. And I cannot tell you how many times I have said that. Not today. It's not going to be today. So keep your positivity on, keep your smile on your face. Sometimes you have tears in your eyes and then you can't help that. Um, but yeah, don't give up on yourself, but try and slow down. Try and sit down and think. I wish I had done that so many times in my life. I wish I had sat down and thought to myself, Fran, where are you going? Why are you in such a hurry? Where are you running to? What are you running from? How far have you gotten? Why do you keep going back? There's a lot of questions you need to ask yourself, and do it now. Don't wait, because waiting's just going to prolong things. Um, it's just, I can't even tell you how many times I wish I had reached out to my fellow man and said, "Hey, I'm having this problem. Can you give me your perspective? What do you think of the situation? What is your advice?" Now, some people give it good advice because they've had a good life. Some people give bad advice because they've had a good life and they don't know what you're talking about. But there are people out there that get you, and the people out there that will give you good advice. So think about that, and always think about your positivity. Let your soul, let your authentic self shine on the world and make it a better place. That's your job. We're not running for no reason. We're running for a reason. So, as soon as we can stop, take a moment to reflect, get some positivity going, shine on the world, make it a better place, say nice things to people, things that you would like nice people to say to you. Do that. Be that person, because that's who you are. That's your true, authentic self. That's why we're running. We're running because we're not seeing people see us for who we are. And we're trying to find those people, and we keep on running into the wrong people. And we keep running in a worse and worse direction. And even worse, when we go back to what we know didn't work to begin with. Okay, we're going to go back again and we're going to give that a second or third try, fourth or fifth, because it didn't work the first two, three, four times. Yeah, that fifth time is going to be a charm, let me tell you. Okay, so be the person that you want someone to be for you. Be that person for somebody else. You're going to see how good it makes you feel. Share your problems with divine, with the universe, with God, and sit down and try and stop and think before you run on to the next situation. You're in a bad situation now. Where are you going? Do you know where you're going? Because chances are it's to a worse place. Okay? Unless you have the luxury of being able to sit down, which really my illness was not a luxury. It was very painful, but it made me sit down for a long period of time. Made me sit still, made me know what I know today. Okay? So I'm trying to tell you that so you can start doing it now before you're ready for retirement like I am. So peace and love. Victims no more. Love you guys. And I hope you found something in this video that can help you. I hope you listen. I'm talking from experience. And we're going to talk some more on Saturday about the story and about how I go down the rabbit's hole. So I will talk to you then. Until then, um, I love you. Let God shine on you, shine on other people, and be your true, authentic self, and always speak your truth. Okay? Um, Goodbye until the next video. Peace, love, victims more. I'm out.